Welcome into Stone Cold Trez. I'm Brandon Strange. I'm joined by senior content contributor Charlie Palillo. If you enjoy him here, please be sure to read his column weekly on sportsmap.com. Follow him on Twitter at Palillo. And Josh Jordan, he edits that column as well as all the columns on sportsmap.com. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at Josh Jordan 975. For everyone out there watching, please be sure to hit like on the video and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, I'll turn my notifications off so we won't get any more dings like that during the podcast. Gentlemen, welcome in.
Greetings. What do you call an underwhelming sweep of one of the worst teams in the history of baseball? Answer, a sweep.
How sweep it was.
That works.
I'll see myself out. Guys, remember the full podcast is available in audio form wherever you get your pods. So, guys, let's talk about it. The Astros have won 7 straight, 10 out of 11 as of this recording. They're currently sitting 2 games behind the Rangers. Guys, who stood out to you? Who are some players that stood out to you during this run? Charlie, you go first.
You know, there really wasn't one guy, as the Astros did a perfect job of taking out the trash. The Cubs are bad. The A's are historically pathetic and inept. So run the table. Now, you don't get a prize for that, but that was handling business. But it's not as if one guy had an amazing week, threw the team on his back. So I will mention Jose Altuve's return as just feeling like a tremendous tonic. Drew 4 walks in the 3 games, and it just feels like order is restored at the top of the batting order. All due respect to Mauricio Dubon. I guess I'll hand a small bouquet because the opportunities are rare. Martin Maldonado, now over his last 14 games, is batting .296. Doesn't override that he hit .131 in the 20 games he played before that. But take it where you can get it.
Yep. I'm going to go with our man, Jake Myers. He's been really good as of late. Our friend Brian McTaggart had down that 9 consecutive plate appearances. He reached base before recording an out in the 8th inning of the game yesterday. So way to go, Jake Myers. The pitching's also been great. I mean, look what Fromber did yesterday. So yeah, Maldi, Jake Myers, great job.
Yeah. And I'll go with, Hunter Brown during this stretch because his last 7 games, he's 3-1 with a 3.23 ERA. Granted, we had some hopes that this is what we would see out of Hunter Brown this season, but hope in one hand and in the other, and you see which one fills up first. Hunter Brown has filled the hope up hand, so that's really awesome, and that's really good because the update on Lance McCullers this week, not necessarily encouraging. We don't know exactly what it is, but we know that as of Sunday, Lance McCullers was scheduled for a live bullpen session, and that was downgraded to a soft playing catch on a flat surface. Stop me if you've heard this one before, but the Astros say it's not a setback. Guys, I have a pre-bottom line question before we get to the bottom line question, which is, who do you think gets back first, Lance McCullers or Michael Brantley?
Oh, God. Oh, boy. Geez, if Brantley's not back before the All-Star break, the Astros and Jeff Bagwell had the worst medical diagnosis in the history of medical diagnoses. Oh, yeah, he'll be good to go opening day. So I guess I have to go Brantley because with what Dana Brown said on Sunday, no way McCullers is coming back before the All-Star break, and that's mid-July.
Yep. Give me Michael Brantley. McCullers doesn't look anywhere near ready. And to get him prepared to be able to throw 100 pitches per start, I mean, that seems a long way away from me, unfortunately.
We talked about this a little bit before we started recording, but we kind of diagnosing or dissecting, I should say, Dana Brown's comments about McCullers and kind of their desire to ramp him up to a certain level. Whether it's a starter, I mean, they definitely need starter depth. But if they're not able to ramp him up to a starter's amount of innings, what's the likelihood maybe we see him come out of the bullpen? The bullpen's pretty stacked. There's a lot of competition there. He would definitely be, if you gave him meaningful innings, he would definitely be displacing someone who's super productive. But where does he kind of fit into that puzzle?
I think you, to a good extent there, asked and answered, Brandon. If McCullers is throwing bullpen innings, it either means the bullpen has blown multiple gaskets or McCullers is generally meaningless, because he's not going to supplant Presley. He's not going to supplant Brian Abreu or Hector Neris. I know it's been a bumpy road for Rafael Montero, but we'll see where he is 6 weeks from now. Ditto, I guess, Ryan Stanek. I think the hope with McCullers, who at this point is not a luxury given the hits they've taken in the rotation, whether the return of Rakiti, obviously no return coming for Luis Garcia. Turns out JP France isn't going to be in the express lane to the Cy Young race. And Brandon Bielak, once he faces better lineups, giving up 33 base runners in 18 innings, it's not going to play. So they can really, really use Lance. I think the reasonable goal would be that if he can give you 75, 80 pitches, and he's what they used to call a 5 and fly before it became the standard for so many starting pitchers. If he gets you through 5 innings, Frommer's going deep, Javier's going deep, Hunter Brown's giving you a reliable 6. Well, if your 4th and 5 starters are giving you 5 competent innings, then you can stack that bullpen to cover the rest of the game. Over under on McCullers, he made 8 starts last season. Right, his regular season debut was August 13th. He gave them 8 pretty good starts. And the postseason, you're only good as your last start. They buried him in the P, Philadelphia. But if you're offered McCullers 8 regular season starts and healthy going into the postseason, I'd take a ditto of last season.
Yeah, that makes sense. But it just makes you wonder, is this going to be it every year where he takes half the season to get ready to start playing and pitching? How sustainable is that? I don't know. I know McCullers prefers to start. I know they prefer him to start for all the reasons you laid out. But just with where we are, I mean, it's a Groundhog Day. We're seeing it again. I mean, to just count on him to be able to pitch for a handful of starts in the playoffs is pretty discouraging. But I don't know if it's any better out of the bullpen. Bullpen guys have to get up and get loose quickly, based on how the game flow is happening. If somebody's getting in trouble, you don't want a guy with elbow issues hurrying up to get ready to get in a game and throw high velocity with a lot of breaking pitches. So I think they're doing their best they can with Lance. I guess patience is really the only option they have.
I think if it's a role of consequence, it's starter or bust for McCullers.
That's it for part 1 of Stone Cold Stros. To listen to the full podcast, it's up right now at your favorite podcast provider. And to watch the rest of our conversation on YouTube, check out the Stone Cold Stros playlist. We'll be releasing those videos very shortly. Go Stros.